going to be starting off today's look with the Smashbox Photo Finish Primer Water. I like starting off my makeup with this or with any priming spray because first of all, over the summer and in the hotter months, it feels very refreshing on the face to start off with that. I also like how other primers apply on top of this. It does help them work into the skin a little bit better. You don't need to spray that much. I'm just very, very generous with it. And then I'm going to go in with the Smashbox Photo Finish Primer, the original. And I'm just going to put that like on my cheeks and kind of in the center of my face. This was how I did it the first few times I wore the foundation, and I really, really liked it. So next I'm going to be going in with the new CoverGirl TruBlend Matte Made Foundation, and I have mine in the shade T50. And how I've been applying this is just kind of going in and like putting the pump directly onto my skin and just kind of seeing how much I need from there. And then I'm just going to start working that into the skin. So I'm just going to go in with a little bit of additional product and put that right like on the center of my cheeks. Just like a little, I want to say like a quarter of a pump on each side. The one thing I will say about this foundation is that it definitely builds very well. I would say it's like a medium buildable coverage. I do feel like the one downside to this foundation is, I don't know if it's just me, but I feel like I'm using a lot. I don't think it's any more than the exact amount that I would use of like the Nars Natural Radiant Longwear foundation. And I don't know if I'm just used to a drugstore foundation in more of a squeezy tube. So like I'm not really seeing exactly how many individual pumps it's taking me to do my whole face. But I will say I did obviously use probably like 4 full pumps. I've used this 3 times now, and that is how much is gone, if you can kind of tell. Like it's down to about there. It could just be that the pump size on this is smaller. I'm not particularly sure. But then again, for an $8.50 foundation, I don't necessarily care that I used 4 pumps as long as it doesn't look cakey on my face or anything like that, which I don't feel like it does. So I'm just going in with my normal concealers now. I'm just going to start out with Tarte Shape Tape in Light Medium Honey. Just right under the eyes there. A little on the lids. Nars Radiant Creamy. Right under the eye. And down the center of the face. And then lastly, just taking Shape Tape in Tan, just to kind of blend that out into my skin. And then I'm just going back in with my beauty blender and I'm gonna blend that out. So now I'm actually going to use a powder that I have not used yet with this. So I'm going to go in with the Too Faced Born This Way powder. Okay, so I just am setting a little bit extra under my eyes and then along my nose, just because I feel like I need it there. If you are someone who does not set their foundation, I don't think you need to set this one. To me, it really does feel like it sets, like it doesn't feel, there's like a little bit of a tackiness to it, but nothing crazy at all. That feeling of my foundation feeling a little bit wet drives me bonkers, so I have to set my foundation. However, if you're someone who doesn't normally set their foundation, you can totally skip it with this one. I feel like this does dry down very well and it dries very nicely. I personally have been using it with a more radiant setting powder just because since this is a matte foundation, I don't want to go ahead and make my base too matte, especially for a summer look. You know, I like to keep any oils I may have like at bay throughout the day, but I also don't want to look completely flat either because again, it is summer. I want something a little bit more on the radiant side. So the last few times that I used this, I was using the Hourglass Veil powder, but I wanted to try it out with the Too Faced one for today and see if I liked it just as much. So I'm just going to grab the Too Faced Mr. Right brush and I'm just going to go in and set the rest of my face. And I'm just gonna really, really work that powder into the skin, which again, this is what I normally do whenever I'm setting my foundation. So here is just a bit more of a close-up look of what the base looks like now that we have put on foundation, concealer, setting powder, and everything. So some of the things that I do really, really like about this foundation is I really like how it applied. I feel like it never looked cakey, it never looked dry, it never looked too matte or too stark, like too full coverage. I like that it is buildable and the layers build onto each other very nicely. Like it doesn't start to break up or anything like that. The other thing obviously about this foundation that's amazing is that the shade range is great. Sometimes I have a really, really hard time finding a foundation shade that matches me. I know I touched on this in my favorites video, but I feel like a lot of times medium to tan foundations either have golden undertones, peach undertones, or olive undertones. So I really need a neutral undertone foundation, and I feel like the T50 really kind of hit the nail on the head with that for me. I also like that when you go into the store to pick out your shade, they have like a little color wheel of all the shade names and little swatches of each one, so you can kind of match yourself a little bit better. At least they did at my store. The one thing I don't like though is that they don't describe the shades. Like I wanted to try to go online and see which shade I would be because I was looking for something that said, you know, tan with neutral undertones, and I couldn't find that anywhere. So if anyone has found that, please let me know. But that was the only thing that I didn't like about the shade range or about the display or anything like that. I'm just going to go ahead and finish applying my makeup off camera, and then I'm going to come back and give you my full thoughts on the foundation now. Okay, so now that I've applied a full face of makeup, I wanted to just check back in and share with you my final thoughts on the foundation. So first of all, I just want to say that the shade range is incredible. They did launch this foundation with 40 shades, which is something that a lot of other drugstore brands don't do. And I know that I personally have several drugstore foundation favorites that I love the formula, but I can't find my shade because there are only 10 or 12 shades. So props to CoverGirl on that one. That's amazing to have 40 shades that are all available in the drugstore. The other thing that's amazing about this foundation is the price point. If you buy this at Walmart, it's only $8.50. It's only $8.50. Like that's so amazing. So overall, I personally would give this foundation an A. I feel like for the price point, for the coverage, for the shade range, for how easy it blended, how easy it applied, how easy it was to build, personally, I don't have many cons to this foundation. I really don't. I've worn it. The first time I wore it, I think I had it on for 10 hours, and the second time I had it on for at least 8 hours. So I feel like this wears really well in the sense that by the end of the day, I don't feel like I look oily. Like I feel like any radiance on my face looks like it was supposed to be there, and that's again because I put it there. I really liked how this foundation worked with my other products as well. I don't feel like anything got cakey or broke up at all, which I know sometimes can be a problem when you try new foundations and mix different formulas together. I used the Tarte Park Avenue Princess contour palette. I used that for my bronzer and for my eyeshadow today. I also used the, excuse me, he's just gonna sit here and stay with us for a minute. I also use the Nars bronzing powder in the shade Casino, like I usually do. I used the Maybelline Master Chrome in the shade Molten Gold, and then I topped that with the Anastasia Beverly Hills Amrezy highlight. And then the lashes that I'm wearing are the lashes that I wore in my false lash tutorial video, if you want to go check that out. My skin tends to be a little bit more oily over the summer. However, even after wearing this for 10 hours, I didn't feel like I looked oily at all, which I can definitely appreciate, especially since I did use a more radiant setting powder and I was out in the sun and I was running around. So I really, really liked that, and I feel like if you do have more oily skin, you will love this foundation. I feel like it would work well for dry skin as well because you can obviously pair it with other more radiant products and get a more radiant finish. Overall, I think if you are in the market for a new foundation or you've been wanting to give this a try and you just weren't sure, I would say absolutely go for it. That just about wraps it up. I hope you enjoyed this review of the new CoverGirl TruBlend Matte Made Foundation. Let me know if you're gonna go pick this up, especially as far as matte foundations go. I think this is my new favorite foundation. So let me know in the comments, has this sparked your interest? Are you gonna go pick it up? Are you not gonna go pick it up? Tell me why. Be sure to subscribe to my channel if you want to see more videos from me, and I'll see you next time. Bye! Oh, they're real dressed up. What are they doing? I want to come. Look who decided to join me. Can I help you? Do you like my lipstick? It smells like chocolate. I did not have any breaking up or any, excuse me. Kitty cat reviews foundation. Would that be a good video? Okay, you gotta go now. Bye-bye. Oh, jeez. Oh. And we're done.